Okay, hello everybody. I'm Chris Caligari, and I'm the community manager for KubeVirt, and this is our weekly meeting to discuss important topics and community affairs. And I shall share my screen.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, good morning.
Good to meet you. Good morning. Just asking for clarification. I think you're a Red Hat manager helping us on the community side, right?
Yes. Hi, Fabian. Cool. Sorry, I had my share screen window open. I could hear a voice, but I couldn't see you. But I know your voice well.
No, you don't know. You don't need to see me.
We've all got that lockdown look.
Yeah.
My wife made me shave my head a few weeks ago, so I'm a little thin up here.
The contrary up here.
You're asking for it. Allow me to share my screen so we can look at the community notes. Oh my gosh, I have so many web browser tabs open. Let's see.
If you need more than just open Chrome and Firefox at the same time.
Sorry about that.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I
just wanted share screen. I think I have it. Okay, here we go. Okay, for everybody who's new, we do keep a log on who attends the meeting. So if you could, please add your name here. And then I will add the recording afterwards. For anybody who's new, if you'd like to take a few seconds to introduce yourself, that would be really cool. Do we have anybody new this week?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I guess I'll start first. I'm the only new one. I'm Samuel Walker. I'm an infrastructure consultant at Red Hat. I'm coming on board actually from some Slack conversations regarding some, what was it, SE Linux and Ubuntu testing among different things. So I'm trying to get more involved with KubeVirt as a whole too, since I've been using it way before OpenShift adopted it. So definitely looking forward to meeting everyone and getting to this community here.
Great, it's good to have you. Welcome aboard. I always like to hear about how people are using KubeVirt.
Can't seem to edit the document. I requested edit access to add myself, but let me know what that goes.
Just for sake of speed, I'll go ahead and add you. You have to join the mail list. There's instructions up at the top on how to do that.
Can do. Thank you for that.
Okay, got you noted. All right. Wow, the agenda appears to be empty. Does anybody have anything to talk about at all? Where's Ryan? He always has something to talk about.
I think conferences just got added, but to the template entry, not the today's notes entry.
Oh, yes, indeed. I will move that down. My Mac is running so slow today. All right. Who added that? Fabian, was that you? So I can talk about the conferences topic. I've been getting swamped with requests to be present at various conferences. We have KubeCon EU coming up. We have Red Hat Summit coming up. We flat out missed SUSECon. That was in November, I believe. It wasn't even on our radar, and I think that was a big mistake on our end. Personally, I was eyeballs deep into getting a user guide migrated into from Docsify over to Make Docs, and dropped the ball on getting out to events in the fall. So in the future, I would love to be present at SUSECon and Rancher. Both those organizations have a hybrid cloud story, and it would be most excellent if KubeVirt was part of that. Of course, I was a one-person team, and now Chandler is with me. So we have a lot more bandwidth to set up demonstrations and whatnot for conferences. So we're going to work much harder this year in getting out there. Let's add Supercomputing Con to that list as well. That is going to be pretty critical for us later in the year. I have a colleague at NASA who's very interested in using Kubernetes and KubeVirt to manage his legacy virtual machine workload alongside of his future workloads that will be containerized. So in the long term, that's going to be a great opportunity for us. Anybody have any other questions, concerns about events? And of course, volunteers are always welcome. If you like to talk with people in chat and looks like the platforms are going to have some kind of video conferencing feature. So if you like to talk to users or potential users, this is an excellent opportunity. Please reach out to me, and we can get you engaged.
Yeah, I just joined, but I mean, I'm good with talking if you guys need volunteers.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Let's talk in Slack, and I can help you help you on board with what's happening for events.
Perfect. What's your tag?
I'm in CoreOS Slack as well as CNCF Slack. Just for ease, just visit our website and go to the community page, and you'll find all the places that we hang out.
Will do.
Okay, on to the open floor. Great, lots of stuff getting populated here. Documentation for KubeVirt GitHub org management automation. Daniel, I think that is you.
Yeah, hey, actually, I forgot to put my tag at the front of that, right?
I knew it was you because I just approved your pull request.
Yeah. Yeah, just a quick heads up to the community that we have now something in place to make transparent and automate memberships of KubeVirt contributors, and also for management of repos and teams and so on. And yeah, I put together yesterday a small document on just where to file PRs against. This is not exactly completely detailed. For exactly details, you have to visit, I figure, the Peribolos documentation, which we are using internally. But yeah, just as a heads up so that everyone can have a look, just for membership and so on, it should be easy just to file a PR against that so that we have that documented.
Very good. Thanks for that. If you don't mind, I'm going to tack a link into our appendix on how that works to that
Yeah.
page.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, great. Next topic is from Roman Moore. Progress report on KubeVirt CI and Podman.
So we have this very long standing issue that while you can use, when you do make and make test or whatever in KubeVirt, you can use Podman or Docker for quite some time now. But if you do make cluster up and make func test or so on, you still need Docker. And I spent some time on this topic lately because it would really help us to make final progress there. And Podman 3 is now pretty good with emulating the Docker API. And so with a few small changes in pull request 554 in KubeVirt CI, I managed to make this work. It's not yet merged, but we are basically able to just talk to Podman through the Docker API and then start our clusters through that. Apart from taking away the need that people install Docker locally if they have Podman already, this will also help a lot with CI because Podman is daemonless and therefore it has features for sharing image repositories, which the Docker daemon does not. This will allow us to have very nice caching between different pod lanes on end-to-end testing. Will help us with end-to-end test CI load. Further, in order to that was the point on Podman and KubeVirt CI. Are there any questions or comments?
Did you say
question
Podman?
for you.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on.
Did you say Podman 3?
Yeah.
As in like version 3?
Version 3, yeah.
Wow, wasn't 2 just released?
I am not sure if, to be honest, I have no clue. I have to check on GitHub if Podman 3 is released at all. It's
Okay.
just, yeah, 3.0.1 is released since 1
Just
month.
yet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And honestly, I didn't check if it was released already. I just went with the assumption that latest master has the best Docker API support, which turned out to be true. And we did some issue reports there. The Podman people were great fixing them, and then I was able to do that.
Yeah, I've just been having all sorts of trouble with Podman 2.2. So that's a big jump in.
Yeah, at least Podman 3. So I just started Podman 3 with the socket support, and it even worked great for me there to run directly with the Docker binary against this Podman.
Cool.
Looks pretty nice so far. It's
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Roman, is this rootless then?
This can also be run rootless, yes.
Wonderful. I volunteer to test. Whenever you.
I mean, it means that for storage, you will have to use, how's it called? Fuse overlay. a storage backend, which is of course not as performant as overlay 2 with root, but it should at least be much better than any other of the emulation storage backends which are normally used if root is not given.
Okay.
Applause on that. I spent quite some time with that when I joined, and with Podman too, and there were still too many problems, or I didn't get it to work. I got cluster up, but cluster sync never worked, so that's awesome to see.
Yeah, to be
gonna
honest,
try
I
it.
think, yeah, I should have mentioned your work too, because you also found some bugs which got fixed. So
Yeah,
what-
the compatibility is still like there's still some stuff to do for Podman, but it's great to see they're making progress on that, I guess.
Yeah, so there were still only 2 issues remaining. One is that filtering, applying a filter when you get a list of containers, the filter was ignored, and the other part was that the ports section, when you fetch the ports, the port section was not filled. That were the only issues
Yeah.
remaining. Let me just add you to the notes to give you the credit which you deserve.
No, don't worry. I'm just happy to see it now that I actually installed Docker recently.
For Fedora, I've given up trying to install Docker. It's so difficult these days.
So good. That was the one more on this topic.
I think we
Okay, so
got it. Thank you, Roman. And one more for you. Progress
yeah,
report
so-
on reducing the need for our builder image.
Yeah, so for a few days now, our end-to-end tests don't need to build the image anymore, because with the introduction of Bazel DNF, we can now build all containers and everything and use the shared libraries from RPMs without having to install them. So for just make cluster up, cluster sync, and make func test, there is no need for the builder image anymore, for as long as you have a new enough glibc version, which helps us to just not have to load or pull the builder image at all for the end-to-end tests. With other optimizations regarding to some fine-tuning on Bazel to pull less from the remote cache, we save now 6 to 8 gigabytes per run. When the Podman changes, we can save another 16, no, not 16, another 8 gigabytes of fetching, which is quite significant. That will help us in the long run. Also, this report on getting rid from the builder image also means that steps like make generate and make test and make func test can then be executed without the builder image, which makes everything more snappy and more lightweight. There is, by the way, no intent to remove the builder image in any way. This is really just to have better hermetic and predictable builds and save CI load and make maintenance tasks easier, like not having to keep code generators for Kubernetes in sync with the used Golang version or stuff like this. This is then all controlled by the Go mod file, and this will help us also.
Sounds
Just
good. That's much appreciated. I know several people will appreciate more CI stability. I have the next one. To circle back to membership management, the new membership policy document is still in queue for being merged into the community repo. It's been there for quite a while now. I have a meeting with the Red Hat Office of Open Source Program, and as long as he doesn't have any more concerns, I'm going to go ahead and merge that. Please review it, add comments where you think they're needed, and anything in the future, we'll just create an issue and adjust it. Okay, Sam, first meeting and your first topic.
Oh boy, I hope it'll mess up. So yeah, this kind of stems around some conversations I had in Slack with some people within the KubeVirt community and the KubeVirt dev channel. I ran into this issue with KubeVirt where it just wouldn't run on anything canonical at all, or I think Debian as well. And this was because of a missing SE Linux resource. And everyone knows they use AppArmor versus SE Linux on that side of things. So obviously it was resolved, the PR was merged, and it was fixed quickly. But worst case scenario, if I had, say there was some enterprise customers and they were running production and they were running canonical and they updated, okay, no, their VM suddenly stopped working. I have to scramble to figure out how. So I'm wanting to contribute to some CI testing or something similar to where we can kind of broaden the scope of this, but I'm also trying to learn what you already have in place so I can know how to contribute properly. Because I'm, like I said, new to this community. While I've been using the tooling for a long time and I love it, I'm trying to figure out the best way to start a give back. And I'm really good with CI/CD, so I figured this is the best place to start.
So I think, yeah, we were talking. Yeah, Federico is also on the call here. I think Federico is so now for a few weeks our CI lead. So I think Federico is also good contact to talk to. And I think regarding to the issue which you had, testing KubeVirt completely fast on maybe a little bit far-fetched, but I could think that we could start, we could, if you have the time, we could come up with something like doing limited testing on different operating systems with a periodic job or something, so that we have basic knowledge that we don't break core assumptions. We even have a conformance test suite, a very small one, which can be run. So maybe, Federico, you can also add your voice here. We could add something like starting a very simplistic Kubernetes cluster on Ubuntu and just run the 10 conformance tests which we have right now, just to be sure, on a regular basis. Regarding to
for sure.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. Yeah, just beat me, Sam, and we can prepare one periodic for this. Start working on that. So, yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, awesome. And is your name the same in Slack and as well in the community where Christy is?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
F Jimenez. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I want to. I mean, if anything, I'm not sure how you work with testing. I do a lot with LTSP, so it gives me a quick bare metal cluster to quickly spin up and spin down using PXD and DHCP proxy among other things. So I can contribute resources locally. I can provide templates, and we can definitely just start with a quick implementation and work across generic OSs. I'd be more than happy to start contributing in there.
Right.
I would
Thank
see,
you. Sounds very good.
yeah. And I would see various ways here, like we can probably deploy on various external systems or do it similar like we do with KubeVirt CI. I guess it also depends a lot on what you can contribute and how permanent your engagement would be, let me put it that way. But to have at least the POC up pretty quickly is probably not too much of an issue if it's just periodic that doesn't block anything. Maybe help people already.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to dedicate a certain amount of times a week. My schedule is currently, I'm on an engagement, but I'm happy to set aside a few hours a week or more to work with KubeVirt and do these kind of contributions.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Thank you all.
You're welcome. Very glad to have you. Glad to have your participation. And that takes us to the end of the open floor. How about one last call for open floor items? Going once, going twice. All right. On to pull requests worthy of discussion. Does anybody have any pull requests that have been lingering and need the weekly meetings attention? I'm always bringing up my membership policy pull request. We already talked about that. Okay, we'll move on from there then. Who would like to run bug scrub this week?
I guess I can do it if there is no other volunteer then.
Yes, you got it. Go ahead and share.
All right. I need you to stop sharing.
Oh. Oh no, what happened to my Zoom? It's stop share. All right, go ahead.
Thanks. All right. Can you see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay, so let's spend 20 minutes going over these and see how many we can tackle. The first one, Virt handler introduces a hidden dependency when it calls Virt gingered with hard-coded QEMU user. And there is no reaction to it. It was opened just today.
Yeah, this is a non-critical issue. It's a nice to have. I would flag it as enhancement.
Okay, so let me give it.
I talked with Igor about this.
Okay, and I will mark it as accepted, meaning we want, if this gets resolved, we would be happy, but it's not the highest priority. And do you know whether Igor is, he's not looking into it because it's not the highest priority. Okay. Sorry for blabbing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a problem for KubeVirt if you just build it and deploy it. It's more a problem when you want to build Virt handler and Virt launcher directly. Then you have to be aware that you need to put in the Virt handler, also libvirt lib, the RPM dependencies and so on, just to have the QEMU user present there, or somehow differently add the QEMU user. And it's not really necessary. I mean, we actually want to look in Virt launcher for the QEMU user. In principle, in practice, it doesn't make any difference. It does not make any difference for us. Therefore, it's not high priority.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks, Roman. Okay, the next one, required disk size is not visible in VM. Let me see if there was any reaction. There are two people suffering this, so I've created the VM with the data volume. Okay, so this is a huge difference between the two.
So if I understand it correctly, they requested 3 GB, but the target QVC had 10 GB. So they got a disk with 3 GB. But they would have probably want to have the full disk capacity.
Doesn't that have to do with expanding the file system?
I was about to say that.
Let me see if I can find the get report with the file system that we talked about 2 weeks back. Was it closed? I cannot find it.
When I use Virt control to upload the image to a PVC that's larger than the cloud image, it usually takes care of expanding the file system. So I'm not sure how they've done this here, or if they're reading from the file system or etcfs down. Or sorry, not LS, the devices, the disks.
I mean, the behavior sounds at least like something which should be discussed, right? So we should probably put it on storage to pull in some people which.
Okay.
Alexander has been involved in the Slack discussion.
Okay. So I will ask Karim what your the discussion is copied here. I'm blind. So it's a known issue.
It looks like a CDI issue from that perspective.
Um, okay. Is this something we want? Yeah. And I will ping Alex offline. Okay, and I will use the need info label. To see if there is a commitment to have this fixed. All right. Then we have two issues that seem to be duplicates. Okay. Sorry.
So it looks like good.
How to use KubeVirt's virtual machine snapshots feature. I want to use KubeVirt. There are syntax available. Okay, so would you confirm that the shared documentation? Okay. Do we have virtual machine snapshots documented in the user guide? Does anybody know?
I am checking on that as we speak. It sure doesn't look like it. Isn't that driven by the virtual disk type? Like whether or not raw versus QCOW2 gets used?
Oh, I have no clue. No clue.
So the snapshot restore and create he's talking about is a feature which is done on the cluster level. It's not related to QCOW, if that was the question. It's more like, I think he's looking for how to enable the feature at all on the cluster, right?
So should we make this into an like a RFE on the user guide? If it's documented
Maybe.
only under. Sir?
Yeah. I mean, at least restore. Yeah, just double check. So the restore is also merged, as I remembered it. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's more about enabling the feature gate.
So I guess
I'm surprised
yeah,
I'm surprised snapshots are not in user guide. I could swear that I cross paths with that feature. I'm not seeing it anywhere.
That's neat little documentation, the KubeVirt markdown too. I mean, Chris, could you open like maybe an RFE on the user guide so we can copy it there?
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. The next one. VMIs failed during in-flight migration when performing workload updates.
So this doesn't need a grooming. David is actively working on that.
All right. Thanks. Okay, so let's skip it. Virt launchers start failing in the version of Virt 0.39. And I'm just seeing if it's being handled, and it seems like a little bot is taking care of it. So
Yeah, I will have a look.
Oh, awesome! Thanks. So I will give it neat info since there's still some exchange happening.
This could be another case of the Linux refactoring where we by accident require the Linux. We probably have to ask for the operating system. Because this looks like everything is fine. The pod gets started, everything is ready, and now Virt handler should start the VM init, and then just nothing happens on the pod. So he would probably see more in the Virt handler logs.
All right, Lebo, you will take care of it, right?
Yes, I was thinking of the same, so I wanted to see what kills the pod. If it is our component, then the Linux is an issue.
Okay. So just disable SC Linux or enable it, one or the other. Unit test results are cached in CI. What kind of issue is that? So the ask here is to not rerun unit tests if the sources were not changed.
Or the other way around? I'm just reading it myself. It's also the case. Well, it's about disabling it because he thinks it's not that much of load and may probably help showing flakes or something.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if
so, what I've been striving. Yeah, I mean, I can take this one. Can you assign it to me?
Yeah, gladly.
So. My final goal would have been to not do anything at all on build and test jobs, so they can be fully cached. Right now, we still download a lot of dependencies just to find out at the end that nothing changed and the cached results apply. And with just minimal changes, we can stop doing anything at all in this case because we can configure bases slightly different, and it can then just basically directly go to the end and say everything is good, or just download for the 2 tests where something changed something. The rest just stays in the cache. So I was actually planning to be more aggressive. So I guess I have to talk to Vasily and see where we can proceed here, because that's kind of the 2 requests are contradicting. I can put it this way.
I get the part with like caching everything, but I mean, if we, and please correct me if I'm getting it wrong a little bit. You're saying that we would run tests, the unit tests, only on modules that were changed, or did I get it wrong?
Yeah, and that's what we do already. But he meant that he found a flake in the unit test, and if the results would not have been cached, it may have been seen earlier, which is of course also valid.
Great.
So yeah, I will talk with him and we will see where we go.
Thanks for taking it, Roman. All right. Still have 8 minutes. So mdev discover failed.
Interesting.
And 5 days ago, no response. I'd like to configure my Intel GPU in KubeVirt cluster.
Yeah, I think
I would just
for this.
blindly assign Vladik.
What was it, Wladek, that you're taking care of it?
There is a PR for this. At least should be.
Would you mind linking it on the issue? Cool. I can link it in the chat to make it easier. Thanks.
There's also been activity on user guide regarding GPUs and MDev. So just this past week, I've been working with a contributor to get that in place.
Awesome. Okay. There was this one. It was also raised on the mailing list by me. So we had this issue where we wanted to merge bug fixes first for the flaky CI, but instead the merge queue was taking other PRs that were not so related to the issue. So the proposed enhancement on this issue is to have a mechanism that allows us to say, set the priority of a PR and say this one should get first. It's like the top priority PR for merging, if it makes sense.
So I know that this on the last incident in the last 2 weeks we had, or 3 weeks, we had huge issues in CI, and in the past, mostly I resolved that by just manually merging important PRs when they were ready. And just this time I didn't do it. In general, I was fine with that if maintainers just do manual merges. I'm not sure if we need the process. I mean, maybe it would have helped this one incident, but before that we had a lot of other incidents and we resolved it without it. So I'm not yet convinced that this process is needed. I mean, to somehow cut out other PRs. I mean, writing something to KubeVirt dev and insisting that maintainers look, which did not happen that this time so fast, of course makes sense.
Okay, so I mean, the doing this makes sense, but we don't. It's not the first thing that we should automate. Did I rephrase it correctly?
Yeah, maybe we can even get away without it. That's what I meant. We had now one case where it may have helped, but we had a lot of such cases before where it was just not needed. That was my main.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, this is the last time that we have issues with CI. Once we fix it, this would become irrelevant.
Yeah, this is for sure the last time. I agree. No issues more than right.
Okay. Do we have Eddie on the call? Eddie, do you want to? Yeah. Do you want to comment on this, or do you agree with what has been said?
I mean, first, this was open as part of it not getting merged forcibly. The merging it forcibly has its own disadvantages. So, but I'm fine with if the maintainers will force merge critical changes. Fine.
Yeah, I would prefer that. As I said, and we didn't do it this time, which was from my perspective a mistake. But we did it a lot of times before and it worked good enough. That's why I would not go for a more strict process right now. But if we fail to do it again, I'm happy to discuss this again from my perspective. But if others want to have it now too, we can also discuss it now. Or in a better forum than this triage call.
Okay, so but then I'm optimistic now. I'm feeling that we won't need this too often so it's merge and automation. So does anybody oppose to close this? And edit if you have like if you believe that this is still valid, like and needed, then please shout at me.
I think that if we write the alternative in the PR, then sorry, in the issue, then just close it based on that, and that's it.
Okay. I will do it offline so we can use the remaining 2 minutes. Sure. And Chris, you made me think that we maybe should look at the user guide as well in this forum to see if there's an issue that merges conversation here. I mean, if there are any, there are just 7 of them. Would you like to give shout outs to any of these to get some input? You're on mute.
How does that happen in today's day and age? Apologize, I had to mute because my family was going crazy right outside my doors. I'm a team of 1, so we have some issues with user guide. For all of our non-US contributors, sorry, this is regarding the first pull request. What is that, 405? UTF-8 characters have been getting into user guide, and that causes our HTML proofer app to crash. So I've had to go around and find solutions for those characters. And so I'd like to get this automated, but I don't want to create too many surprises for people on their keyboard character sets. So if anybody would like to take this task on, I can explain further offline. Definitely an enhancement.
If it's something that would help me get more familiar with the automation and testing, I would be more than happy to kind of look into that. I mean, it sounds simple enough on paper to where I can just run a check on a lot of markdown files to say what kind of format I'm using. I could try for it. I would be more comfortable if I just make sure I had someone to pair with, but something I can definitely work on.
Yeah, sounds good, Sam. I've been using this great big long grex command to find UTF-8 characters. I'm sure there's better ways to go about that. Let's have a chat in Slack, and we'll probably get together on the Zoom call, and I'll give you a big overview on how the tooling works.
Perfect, understood.
Thank you.
All right, we are out of time, but we got some work done today. So thanks all.
Yeah, great. Lots of participation this week. That makes me a happy KubeVirt project organizer. And I will let you guys go. Have a good week, and we'll see you around the project.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Good week.
Bye-bye.
I think so.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.